Did I just fix Universal Soldier? That's right. Universal Soldier. This is one I picked. Saturday night, I was just kind of hanging around, and I was talking to Master Shake and Tim and Ward. I was texting them. We have a group chat, and I was just BSing with them. And I was like, "Hey guys, what should I watch?" I was just kind of in the mood for an action. And we went over a few things, and they gave me some great recommendations. And I was flipping through. I saw Universal Soldier. I was like, "Yeah, that's the winner." I was like, "Universal Soldier, let's do this." I was like, "I also need something for Did I Fix this week?" So I was like, "This is going to be perfect." So I go right in. I watch the movie. This is a movie. If you haven't seen it, first off, it spawned like 6 sequels or something like that. I think I'm going to continue on too. And it's a movie. So basically, to give you the rundown of what it is, Vietnam veterans go all, they're in Vietnam. They get killed by their sergeant, nonetheless, played by Dolph Lundgren, who goes crazy and he's cutting off their ears and he's wearing them as a necklace. Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a private who figures out what he's doing. He fights him on it. They both wind up shooting and killing each other in Vietnam. But there's a program that's going on where they take their bodies and they work on them, put like computer chips in them, stuff like that, and they make them what's called a Unisol, the Universal Soldier program, where they are the ultimate soldier and they never really need to. They can heal, they have healing capabilities, things like that. They're drones basically, and they go out, they tell them who to kill, what to do, how to do things, and they go out and they do it. So they have Dolph Lundgren there. He's doing it. Jean-Claude Van Damme, Tiny Lister's one of them. There's a bunch of them, dead soldiers who are now a part of this. And there's a few different elements that they have to do. They have doctors working on them, things like that. Like their bodies get overheated real quick, so they have to be in the cold and stuff like that. So going through this and watching this movie and seeing how it kind of plays out, like a reporter figures out what's going on after one of the missions. She sneaks back to the base where they are. She gets the evidence, sees who they are. They're going to kill her because it has not been approved by Congress or any sort of government thing. It's the army saying, do this. So they go about it. They kill her cameraman. They're about to kill her. And, Van Damme's character is like glitching. He remembers his sergeant Dolph Lundgren killing people in Vietnam, and he remembers those things. So like he's kind of imagining that or revisiting that in his memories while they have a gun pointed at her, and he stops them, saves her, and they go on a run. So the movie becomes about them running away. They frame them for murder and everything. So they're on the run. And all these Unisols are chasing them down. And finally, the memories are coming back in Dolph Lundgren's mind, and he's going crazy. He wants to kill everybody, and he just wants that because he's nuts. He's a psychopath, so he's just going crazy. So it goes into that element. So this is a good movie. This is one of Jean-Claude Van Damme's better movies. Now, let's face facts, and many of you are probably going to get mad at me for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Jean-Claude Van Damme movies aren't always good. Let's face facts. Bloodsport's not a good movie. Kickboxer is not a good movie. Most of them are not good movies. Are they fun, adventure, action movies that you want to watch? 100%, and I will watch them all the time. Yes, I am in. I will watch Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. But they're not good movies. And he's actually made better versions of all of them down the line with better actors. Later in his career. So when you get down to it, Universal Soldier is one of his better movies that he made because Roland Emmerich directed it, and it had more money behind it. It was just one of those things. And like there was 2 powerhouse performances for the time in the early 90s of Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I really appreciated this movie for what it was. And I like Universal Soldier: The Return. It's a terrible movie. Compared to this one, it is god awful, but I dug it. And actually, there's a connection I never knew before. Michael Jai White plays Seth in Universal Soldier: The Return. And he's the artificial intelligence that, in the end, has a body of a Unisol and he puts his artificial intelligence into the body and becomes the ultimate killing machine. And Jean-Claude Van Damme has to fight him in it. Well, funny thing is, I didn't know this, but Michael Jai White was actually in the first Universal Soldier movie. He played one of their Vietnam platoon. He was in their platoon and he got killed. So in my mind now, I'm connecting it. I'm like, oh, they just used that body then. That's awesome. I love it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. So, but the fix for Universal Soldier, there is campiness to it. There's, of course, when you watch it, you see that Jean-Claude Van Damme did have aspects that he added to this. Like he definitely wanted portions in there for himself, and he just like cliches or tropes or things, whatever you want to call them, that are specific to Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I think you need to remove those things. I think those are what kind of hurt things. I think those are the things that get campy. I think those are the things that they didn't so much make him shine. First of all, he's naked in a lot of this movie, and he really likes to show off his body. Now that's great, and I can appreciate that. Fine, I have nothing against him showing off his body, especially in the 90s. He looked fantastic. Good for you, Jean-Claude. But my point being is, you take away from things when you add those certain elements that you think are funny. And you can tell, because if you see other Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, like certain types of characters or certain types of events happen that don't really make too much sense, you draw those back in. And Roland Emmerich isn't really helping, because there was a point where Roland Emmerich made pretty good movies, good stories, because he had other people's scripts, and then it just went off the rails. It was like, oh man, okay, now we're just making disaster movies that make no sense. Okay, that's how this works. Not at this point. He was still making pretty good movies. So at this point, the only way you're really going to fix this movie, which again doesn't need much, what you need to do is you need to bring the drama quicker. This needs to become a cat and mouse thriller, where it didn't ever really played out like that. I think after the hotel scene where all the Unisols are attacking, and that's where Dolph Lundgren's character is starting to familiarize and remember a lot of things that happened in Vietnam and who he was and what's going on. He had to turn around and come back. And I think that's where he should have, like, at one point, off everyone except the doctors and like go hunting. And I think that would have made that second part of the movie a lot more like hardcore, a lot more thriller aspect, a lot more cat and mouse, not so much a shoot 'em up crazy. Like, yes, you can still have the fight scenes, you can still have Jean-Claude Van Damme do the martial arts, but now you have this almost like this monstrous character that he plays so well in this. He's a great villain in this. This monstrous character who will stop at nothing, who can heal, who has the technology at his fingertips, chasing them down everywhere he goes, and he's finding it out, and he's completely free and void of all those things that were holding them back. I think they just held on too long with it, and we're trying to like tell a story or have Jean-Claude Van Damme go and fight in a diner because he didn't have any money, or that, like those little things that are like cliches to show Jean-Claude Van Damme fight people or get naked for some reason. Those are the fixes that I think you need. I think you need to focus on this being more of a movie that's a thriller that turns into hardcore action. And that's how I think you would fix it. I don't know about you guys. That is just how I would have done it. I would love to hear how you guys think. Let's kind of go over what the comments say real quick. Chris says, put your sign on the ninth gate. Put your spin on the ninth gate. I love it, but ratings suck. I will check out the ninth gate. Thank you, Chris. Maybe that'll be the next one. Universal Soldier: The Return was great. Michael Jai White as Seth, an excellent role. I like it, man. Lionheart, that's another one I like. That's another one I think he improved upon a lot of his. I think that's an improvement on Kickboxer personally, but that's just me. Although I kind of like the Kickboxer 2, 3, and 4 more than I like the first one personally. Double Impact's another fun one. Think about how many times Jean-Claude Van Damme did movies where he had twins. Just go back and look. Or Clones. Hard Target was a fun one. I like Bad Guy Van Damme. He does a great bad guy, but I would love to know what you guys think. Did I fix the movie? Sound off. Let me know, and let's talk about it. And guys, this has been the Scene Snobs Podcast. We had a little bit of an extra long episode. Usually we go about an hour 15, but we are 2 hours. I had a great conversation with Wise today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I really appreciate you. We're going to be live again next week, so make sure to go check it out. We have new merch up at snobsmerch.com. It's all linked below. Go check out our Patreon. That's linked below. Go check out our Discord. That's linked below. Everything's there. It's on the Linktree or more. I really appreciate you guys, but I wanted to start ending the show a little bit differently.